Hey y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a half-price book haul. Anytime I would take my pup to the university and they have all the bookstores there, I would go. So after I first took her this last time, before I knew what was going to happen, I was doing my normal thing and went to the bookstores. So I have a haul from that. And I made it clear I was doing this before I got the bad news. Like, I thought she was going to get her first thing of chemo and just to get her feeling better from her stomach ache, like her upset tummy, and that she'd be coming home that same day, but that's not how it went. So it's half-price books plus I stopped at this children's bookstore. I tried to go in before, but it was not long after the pandemic and they were closed. So I went in there. Actually, if I had been in there sooner, the author of Molly and the Machine, apparently I had been there, so I got one of these while I was there. I'd already bought the book, so I got Shadow of the Mountain by Margie Prius. After Nazi Germany invades and occupies Norway, 14-year-old Espen and his friends are swept up in the Norwegian resistance movement. Espen gets his start by delivering illegal newspapers, then graduates to the role of courier, and finally becomes a spy, dodging the Gestapo along the way. During 5 years under the Nazi regime, Espen, his sister, and their parents live in fear of nighttime raids and arrests, and they begin to question the loyalties of the people around them. Espen gains and loses friends, falls in love, and makes one small mistake that threatens to catch up with him as he sets out to escape on skis over the mountains to Sweden. So 14-year-old falls in love. Some dark themes, probably. Nazi Germany, but so for middle grade. That sounds like a great read. This one I've had my own for a long time. Da Vinci's Cat by Catherine Gilbert Murdoch. What it says on the back is, how does the cat move? And here it says, this is the story of a kitten who becomes a cat, a hostage who becomes a champion, a reader who becomes a detective, an artist who becomes a thief, a soldier who becomes a builder, an inventor who leaves a mystery, a painter who changes the world. But mostly this is a story about a boy and a girl who slipped through time and history, a boy and a girl who followed the cat into an unforgettable adventure. Sounds so good. And then I got these two books I'd never heard of before by Addie Abacus, Morgan, and they're magic math adventures. Morgan and the 40 Thieves, and they're really short, but they just look so good. And I don't know if they're independent and local authors or what, but. And then Morgan and the Monster of the Deep. 9-year-old Morgan is the daughter of an explorer and an adventurer at heart. When her father is lost on an expedition, Morgan and her mother are forced to sell their home and move in with a mysterious family they've never met. Morgan soon discovers that the family is hiding a great secret and that a world of magic and enchantments might actually be real. It says, set in Massachusetts at the turn of the last century, Morgan and the 40 Thieves is a captivating adventure story that has problem-solving and mathematical concepts woven into the narrative. Math is presented as a language of the universe that helps us understand the beautiful patterns and symmetries found in nature. It just sounds so interesting. Alright, on to half-price books. Yeah, I think this is a duology, but I got the first book. A lot of these are from clearance, and I got it on clearance at $1. Into the Land of the Unicorns by Bruce Coville. 8, 9, 10. As each bell chimes, Kara climbs faster up the steep bell tower. 11. She must be on the roof when the next bell tolls. 12. With a deep breath and only half believing she will be safe, Kara jumps off the church roof and into Luster, Land of the Unicorns. In Luster, Kara meets many wonderful creatures, but the most magnificent of all is Lightfoot, a rebellious young unicorn. Together with her new unicorn friend, a hairy creature named the Dimblethumb, and the monkey-like Squigum, Kara sets out to reach the Unicorn Queen before the mysterious man Island does, and to prevent the destruction of all unicorns. I had this on my wish list for so long, so I was so happy I saw it for $1. Next two are like probably younger middle grade, quicker series, but I've always had my eye on them, and for $1. So this is book 1 and the Sisters 8 series. This is Annie's Adventure by Lauren Baratz Logsted with Greg Logsted and Jackie Logsted. It was $1. Let's some illustrations. The story begins. On New Year's Eve, 8 sisters, octuplets, wait for Mommy to come back from the kitchen with eggnog and Daddy to come back from the shed with more wood for their fire. But they, Mommy and Daddy, don't come back, ever. It takes the sisters a few minutes to notice, but when they do, it's just as one would expect. Disbelief, outrage, despair. Then a note appears explaining that each girl has a power and a gift. They all must find theirs to learn what happened to Mommy and Daddy. So that's how the story begins. How does it end? Enter the world of the Sisters 8 to find out. So intrigued by that. And the next younger one is the Little Legends series. This is The Secret Mountain by Tom Percival. This is book 5, so I'm not gonna read the synopsis, but for $1. It's full of illustrations, and I just love the whole idea of this. And then I really like these. I don't know if there's another one I like more, but I know I love this illustration style of the Charlie Bone series, and this is Charlie Bone and the Blue Boa. This is the third one, so I'm not gonna read the synopsis, but they're by Jenny Nemo, and it was $2 on clearance. I was happy to find that. I think this is the 4th book in the spinoff of Little House on the Prairie, the Little House, the Rocky Ridge Years. This is On the Other Side of the Hill by Roger Lee McBride, and these just sound so good to me. And this was $1.99, so I got that so I'd have it. This wasn't on clearance, but it was $4.49, and it looks brand new. Just Add Magic, Potion Problems by Cindy Callahan. It says now an original series streaming online too. And this is second in the Just Add Magic series. This is Potion Problems, like I said. So I won't read this is the second one. But it's a series I've had my eye on for a very long time. And then I've been getting the Goddess Girls books when I've seen them for like a great price, because I love the graphic novel series. And so I got books 1, 2, and 4, all for $1 each. Athena the Brain, Persephone the Phony, Artemis the Brave. Athena's in for a hair-raising adventure. Athena has always been above average. She's never quite fit in at Triton Junior High, but who would have guessed that Athena is actually a goddess? Principal Zeus's daughter, to be exact. When she's summoned to Mount Olympus Academy, Athena thinks she might actually fit in for the first time in her life. But in some ways, school and Mount Olympus is not that different from down on Earth, and Athena is going to have to deal with the baddest mean girl in history, Medusa. Very happy to find these. I had only got the first 2 books of the Emily Winsnap series before, but these were $1 each, and they look brand new, so I got book 5 and book 6. And so I'm not going to read synopsis, but by Liz Keller. So Emily Winsnap and the Land of the Midnight Sun. Emily Winsnap and the Ship of Lost Souls. Happy to find those. And then I found 2 sequels that are like really brand new, like they literally just came out very recently, and so that's why I paid this price. I never would usually at half price books, but this is very cheap for how new they are. I think the 3rd book in the Finiverse series, Finn and the Subatomic Slip Inside by Michael Buckley, and I have the first 2, so I was so excited. It was $8.49. Like I said, looks brand new, just came out. And another one, I have the first 2 in the Tailspinner series by Scott Arrington, Breaking Badlands, $8.49. It's brand new, just came out, so I was so happy to find those. And then another new release that recently just came out for $3.99. This is Not a Drill by K.A. Holt, and this was an anticipated release. I got it for $3.99. But I read this in an anticipated release video, so I won't read the synopsis again, but I was so happy to find that. And I've been wanting this for a long time. The Unicorn in the Barn by Jacqueline K. Ogburn. It's $3.99. It's got illustrations. For years, people have claimed to see a mysterious white deer in the woods around Chinaberry Creek. It always gets away. One evening, Eric Harper thinks he spots it, but a deer doesn't have a coat that shimmers like a pearl, and a deer certainly isn't born with an ivory horn curling from its forehead. When Eric discovers the unicorn is hurt and being taken care of by the vet next door and her daughter, Allegra, his life is transformed. He is thrust into a world of magical creatures just as his world at home starts to fall apart. It's like a magical story, plus probably some important messages and emotional. I was very happy I found that. Another one I've been wanting for so long. The World's Greatest Chocolate Covered Pork Chops by Ryan K. Sager, $3.99. I mean, middle grade in food. Warning, you may want to eat this book. 12-year-old chef Zoe Cates' fried banana fondue is delectable. Her maple cinnamon crab fajitas are divine, and her chocolate-covered pork chops are to die for. Zoe is the best cook in San Francisco, and she wants everyone to know it. So what's a young chef to do? Open up her own restaurant and an actual working trolley car, of course. The joint is called Zoelicious, and along with her football-obsessed friend, Dallin, jazz-playing parents, Gershwin and Valentine, and a burly biker trolley driver named Knuckles, Zoe turns the restaurant into an instant mega hit on the culinary scene. But there are people who see Zoe as a threat, and she'll have to use her quick wit and fearsome improvisational skills to overcome some seriously Syrian sabotage. Will Chef Zoe prevail? Sample this delectably funny adventure and find out. That sounds so amazing. One book by Jennifer A. Nielsen I didn't have was Resistance, so I saw it for $3.99, so I picked that up. I can't believe there was still one I didn't have by now. Shaya Linder is a Jewish teenager living in Nazi-occupied Poland. Simply being Jewish places her in an ever-present danger of being killed or sent to the camps. After her little sister is taken away to a death camp, her younger brother disappears, and her parents all but give up hope. Shaya is determined to make a difference. Using forged papers and her fair features, Shaya becomes a courier, able to travel between the isolated Jewish ghettos of Poland and smuggle food, documents, and even people. Soon, Shaya finds herself drawn into more perilous work. She joins a resistance cell that runs raids on the Nazi supplies. But after a mission goes terribly wrong, Shaya's network shatters. Many of her colleagues are arrested or killed. Shaya is alone and unsure where to go until Esther, a member of her cell, delivers a message that chills Shaya to her core and sends her on a journey toward an even larger uprising in the Warsaw Ghetto. Though the Jewish resistance never had much of a chance against the Nazis, they were determined to save as many lives as possible and show the world that the Jewish people could stand strong in the face of unimaginable horrors and adversity, to fight for their survival, to live or die with honor. So happy to have this. Another one I've been wanting forever, The Conch Bear by Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni, I think so, yeah. $2.99. In a dingy shack in the less than desirable Indian neighborhood he calls home, 12-year-old Anand is entrusted with a conch shell that possesses mystical powers. His task is to return the shell to its rightful home many hundreds of miles away. Accompanying him are Nisha, a headstrong but resourceful child of the streets, and a mysterious man of interdeterminate age and surprising resources named Abed Hayata. His quest will take him farther from home than he's ever been, and will teach him more than he ever imagined, and it will force him to make a poignant decision that will change him forever. Sounds like such a great story. Another one I've been wanting forever, it's like brand new, $2.99. From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks. Dear Marcus, Zoe Washington isn't sure what to write next. What does a girl say to the father she's never met, she hadn't heard from until his letter arrived on her 12th birthday, and who's been in prison for a terrible crime? A crime he says he never committed. Could Marcus really be innocent? The truth is somewhere out there, and Zoe is determined to uncover it, even if it means hiding his letters and her investigation from her mom and stepdad. Everyone else thinks Zoe is worrying about doing a good job in her bakery internship and proving to her parents that she's worthy of auditioning for Food Network's Kids Bake Challenge. It's been Zoe's dream to become a star baker, and she can't afford to mess anything up. Her neighbor and best friend Trevor would have been her confidant through all this, but Zoe's not speaking to him anymore. She'll have to figure this out alone. With bakery confections on one part of her mind and Marcus's conviction weighing heavily on the other, this is one recipe Zoe doesn't know how to balance. The only thing she knows to be true, everyone lies. Can't wait to read that. And the one I had on my wish list, since it looks brand new, it was on clearance for $2. King Matt the First by Janons Korczak. After the death of his father, young Matt is left with the task of ruling a country. Determined, he navigates around his doubting grown-up advisors to implement his reforms. School is outfitted with carousels, building a zoo that is the envy of the world. He fights in battles, braves the jungle, and crosses the desert. But perhaps the most life-altering thing of all is that the lonely boy king finds true friends. Sounds so good. And I got Andersen's Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. This is one of those editions that I love collecting. Junior Illustrated Junior Library Edition. It was $7.99. And I've learned to get these when I see them. So I'll pay a little bit more, but they're so worth it, and this looks brand new, even though it's not. Illustrations throughout. It's just so beautiful. This is a naked hardback. And I love these editions too. It's Anna Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery, L.A. Montgomery, $6.49. And it's children's classic. It's sprayed on the top for some reason. But this book belongs to, it says the name, from great grandma 10th birthday. I love stuff like that. It's got illustration. So, and then The Enchanted Castle by E. Nesbitt, $7.99. Just love this edition. So happy to find that. And then Hans Brinker or The Silver Skates by Mary Mapes Dodge. Another of the children's classics editions. I don't know what it is with just spraying the front. This is like the third one. But $6.49. Just love this. And then Christmas Treasury. A Christmas Treasury, $7.49. It says classic holiday stories and poems to celebrate the Yuletide season. It says Barnes & Noble. That's just beautiful. Still has this on it, but underneath it's there's your ribbon. Oh, it's just beautiful. And then Walt Disney's Treasury of Children's Classics for $7.99. And it is heavily illustrated, and this is like the cartoons that I grew up, not this computerized stuff, like where they drew the cartoons and all the classics I grew up with, even stuff from Disney. So I'm so happy I found that. And lastly, I just got this. It was the Golden Girls magnetic bookmarks. I just thought that was cute. Alright, well that's it for this one. Now I get these stickers put off and then put them up. So, have you read any of these? If you see any you like, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you'd like to subscribe, I would love that if you'd like to. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.